Hey guys, thanks everybody who's on the call already. We are a couple of minutes early. We're going to give everybody a chance to get on the call. We're going to wait a couple of minutes and then we're going to get started. Okay guys, we want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us this evening. We have had an unbelievable response to this new promotion and it's something that we are very, very excited to share with you tonight. Tonight we're here to talk about the amazing opportunity with the investor suites at the Monde Condominiums. We really, really believe this to be one of the best investment projects that we have ever sent out to you guys. And pricing for the investor suites are some of the lowest that have ever been offered at this project. It's an amazing time to invest and we can't wait to show you what's going off. My name is Roy Bandari and I am the co-founder of Talk Condo and a sales representative with Sage Real Estate. I'm joined here today by Sunny Batra of REMAX, another platinum agent in downtown Toronto.
Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing well this evening.
So here's a quick overview of what we're going to discuss tonight. First, we're going to introduce Monde Condominiums and give you a couple of key highlights of the project. Next up, we want to highlight why we have access to this exclusive promotion and how we're able to negotiate this deal for you guys. We're going to take a closer look at the developer of Monde Condominiums, Great Gulf Homes. We're going to take an in-depth look at the amazing redevelopment that is happening at the East Bay Front, the brand new neighborhood of Monde Condominiums, and is one of the most exciting reasons that we're so excited about this project. We're going to spend the bulk of the time tonight talking about the floor plans and the views, and we're also going to go into detail about this promotion and the incentives. And at the end, we are going to have a Q&A session. So on your window, there should be a questions window that you can ask your questions throughout the presentation. And you can ask as many questions as you need as they come through, and then what we'll do is at the end of the presentation, we'll go through as many as we can. So let's jump right in. Here's a quick overview of Monde Condominiums. The project is developed by Great Gulf Homes. It's going to stand 40 stories and house around 497 suites. The project is scheduled for occupancy in the summer of 2018. And it's located in the brand new Bayfront waterfront community. We're going to go into the East Bayfront community in a lot more detail a little bit later. The architecture is by a gentleman named Moshe Safdie, who's one of the most world-famous architects on the planet. He's probably most famously known for Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. It features one of the highest infinity pools on the planet, and it's one of the hotels that people travel from all around the world to go visit. Safdie was hired on this project because of his work and expertise with waterfront high-rises, and you'll see some of that expertise play out a little bit later. Next up, we also have luxury level finishes. This is not a cheap product. The finishes and the architecture is all very, very high-end. As an example, We have 9-foot ceilings. A lot of developers these days are going to 8.5 and 8-foot ceilings to bring the prices down. Monde is not doing that here. Incredible floor-to-ceiling windows with true curtain wall. You can see the windows go straight from floor to ceiling with no break, and that's a big part of the upgrade that they're doing at Monde Condominiums. The flooring is going to be 5-inch plank wood flooring throughout, as opposed to the 2 to 4 that we typically see. Jumping to the kitchen. We have integrated fridges and dishwashers. We have custom designed cabinets with lots of storage and a very unique kitchen island that doubles as a dining space for more efficient use. So the big question is, why Monde and why now? One of the questions that we've been asked a few times is, why do we have access to this deal? So the story is, this deal was exclusively negotiated by our team and Sonny Battrip. And we decided to look at this project because it's in a neighborhood with enormous potential to become one of the best in the city. It's important to understand that developers are required to pre-sell 75% of a project before they get financing. At the time of, as of right now, Monde Condominiums is just under 70% sold. We've been able to negotiate an incredible package for our clients, one where they're offering suites at the lowest that they've ever been offered at Monde, and this is something that very rarely happens in Toronto. The reason for this is that we are helping them to get to the 75% so they can start construction in the springtime, which is when they want to start. In our experience, the 2 best times to buy in a condo launch is right at the beginning at the platinum launch, which is typically during the initial launch stages, or if we're able to get into one of these bulk deals before they start going in for construction financing. These types of deals are rare, but when they do come about, they're some of the best incentives that we can ever offer. We're going to jump in now and talk a little bit about the developer. Monde Condominiums is developed by Great Gulf Homes. Great Gulf Homes are a multi-award winning developer with over 35 years of experience. They are one of the most trusted developers in the GTA. They have a huge portfolio of homes with over 40,000 homes and condominium suites, which, if you average it out, averages around 1,000 homes per year, or more than 3 a day. They have a huge portfolio that stretches across the GTA and into the Niagara region, and they have a huge and extensive high-rise portfolio with projects such as the Hudson, Charlie, Hot Condos in Mississauga, Monde Condominiums, One Bloor, One Sherway, Pace Condominiums, X Condominiums, X2 Condominiums, Young and Rich, and the list goes on and on and on. What is particularly interesting about Great Gulf is that they have this amazing reputation within the industry of building in neighborhoods before they become popular. They've got this reputation of being pioneers in neighborhood. We've got a couple of examples to highlight that point. One example is the Hudson. The Hudson is located at King and Spadina, which today is known as the Entertainment District. Back when they launched and sold the Hudson, this was not one of the most sought after neighborhoods. This was one of the first projects in that neighborhood, and they had to really sell people on the vision of this intersection. Today, the entertainment district is one of the most popular in the city, with some of the highest rental rates and highest resale rates. And despite being one of the original condominiums in this area, the Hudson is still one of the most sought after buildings in that neighborhood. It's not the first time they've done this. Similarly, they were the first of a long list of developers who have started the recent revitalization of Church and Jarvis Street with Pace Condominiums. Since then, a number of developers followed suit, including Tridel, Minkies, Eastern Group, Center Court, and a number of others. And again, they did the same thing with X Condominiums at Jarvis and Charles Street East. Since then, they've been joined by Couture and X2. And again, buyers who were able to buy in these first buildings have done very, very well because they've got this first mover advantage. And again, they're doing the exact same thing with Monde Condominiums. Of course, Great Gulf also developed incredible projects in already established neighborhoods. And they're probably most well known for their work at One Bloor and Young and Rich. So here's where we would like to spend a little bit of time. We want to talk about the location because we think that is one of the most exciting reasons to get behind this project. 3 of the most popular words in real estate investing are master plan community. There are a number of benefits of investing early into a master plan community, and investing into a master plan community is one of the most tried and trusted real estate investment tactics. It means that we're able to invest in the neighborhood before it gets popular, which means lower pricing, which we've seen in the last few examples. When there are multiple condominiums built, builders will typically increase the prices of future projects. This is a form of appreciation where the developers are pulling the strings, and that's something that we call developer-driven appreciation, and it's something that we see all over the GTA. What's important to understand is that not all master plan communities are created equally. And even in the city of Toronto, there are examples of master plan communities that have been very successful, and others that have fallen short. In order for a successful master plan community, the community needs a number of things. Number one, it needs to be mixed use. This is probably the most important aspect of a successful master plan community. The idea is to turn the urban communities into destinations. And a quick question that you can ask yourself is, would a tourist ever visit this neighborhood? A successful community, it should have condominiums, places to live. It should have a retail element. It should have shops, grocery stores, restaurants, cafes, etc. You can always get a sense of the direction of a master plan community if these elements are outlined in advance. One of the best examples we have of this is the Distillery District, where they had a very, very distinct and intentional feel right from the beginning. In addition, it should have some commercial space. Can this location become a work, live, play location? And finally, and probably the most overlooked area of a successful master plan community, is public space. Public space brings people into the area. Again, think about a location such as the Distillery District. Even if you do not live in that neighborhood, there's still a reason to go to that community because of the restaurants and the distinct feel that you get from that location. This is a key element that's often overlooked in master plan communities because the developer is not going to spend the money on these public spaces because they don't make immediate returns from them. The next important element is funding. Where is the money coming from? This is a major piece of the puzzle, and again, it's something that you don't always pay direct attention to. Master plan communities are not developed overnight. They're typically 10, 15, 20, and sometimes even longer year plans. It's important that the funding is secured and the project is going to deliver. It's also important to understand who wants these neighborhoods to be developed. A couple of examples. Regent Park and Canary District are both backed by the City of Toronto, and both for very different reasons. And the city have vested interests in these revitalizations. For Regent Park, they wanted to upgrade and eliminate this ghettoization that had been created in Regent Park. And Canary District is going to be the host of the Pan Am Games in 2015. And finally, we want to take a look at some master plan we want to make sure the master plan communities are backed by high quality developers. Again, it's important to understand that these are long-term plans and that the developers on these that are working on these projects are of high quality. Again, we look at some of the more successful master plan communities in Toronto, such as Regent Park, which was developed by Daniels, a very, very big developer who's backed the project from day one. So next we took a look at some examples of some master plan communities in Toronto, and we kind of lined up these points and kind of saw what each area had going for it. So number one, Liberty Village, excellent residential, excellent retail, excellent commercial, but not so much in the public space. It was backed by one level of government, the City of Toronto, and the major developer in that area was CanAlpha. They have seen an upward trend in pricing. something like the Distillery District. They have residential and lots of retail, but not so much in the commercial. They do have excellent public spaces that do bring people into the area and had funding from 2 levels of government. The key developers in there were Dundee. And again, we've seen an upward trend of pricing. Another one that is currently under construction is called the Canary District, which will also be the Pan Am Village. This is another example of a really well-planned master plan community. It's got excellent residential, retail, commercial, public space, all in from the very beginning. Regent Park again has multiple levels of residential, retail, commercial. Commercial, it's not so much, but it does have it within the community. But it also has amazing public space with the aquatic park and the 6-acre park right in the middle. It's backed by 1 level of government, the City of Toronto, and the developer is Daniels, and it has seen an upward trend. Here's a couple of examples of where they didn't put all the eggs in, have all the elements. Fort York, the Fort York neighborhood, has amazing residential opportunities, but where it lacked was retail built right into the community. It didn't have commercial set up from the beginning, and it only has very limited public space. The public space that does exist there was already there before the developers came in. The funding for the neighborhood was by the developers. There was no additional funding, and the developers here were Plaza and Omni. And what we've seen on the pricing is that the trend has started to flatline a little. And we attribute that to the lack of retail and these commercial and public spaces. Similarly, City Place. Incredible amounts of residential, but only limited retail and almost non-existent commercial and public spaces. Funding, again, was from the developer, and the developer here was Concord. And what we've seen here is more of a flatlining of prices over the last couple of years. Jumping into East Bayfront, which is the new neighborhood for Monde Condominiums. So here's a picture of East Bayfront before. As you can see, there's not a whole lot happening, but it has all the makings of a great neighborhood. It's downtown and it's at the waterfront. And here's an image of East Bayfront when it's all said and done. Earlier we talked about the elements that make a great master plan community. Here we have the residential elements. There's going to be a number of residential buildings. Monde Condominiums by Great Gulf Homes. There's going to be a stretch of residential buildings by Tridel, and when it's all said and done, there's going to be over 6,000 residential suites. Retail. Now this for me is a very important aspect. East Bay, from the very beginning, it is a requirement that every building in this neighborhood have ground level retail. What that means is that this entire neighborhood is going to be very, very pedestrian friendly. In addition, each retail space must also be double height, which means 18-foot ceilings. They made this a requirement because they want to attract higher quality retail tenants with big, airy spaces that are going to feel amazing. You're going to get your staples like grocery stores for the neighborhood, but you're also going to get restaurants and cafes and boutiques. That's going to attract walkability within the neighborhood and attract people from the outside of the neighborhood to come into this neighborhood. We talked about commercial. They've already opened the Chorus Entertainment headquarters in George Brown campus, and it's expected that over 2.5 million square feet of brand new commercial space will come into the neighborhood, which equates to around 8,000 brand new jobs right in this neighborhood. And finally, we talked about public spaces. And this is one area that we feel East Bayfront has really nailed. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on brand new public spaces that are going to create these vibrant and rich public spaces for the entire city to enjoy, and not just the people in this neighborhood. First up is Sugar Beach. Sugar Beach is now open. It's a 2-acre urban beach. Believe it or not, these pictures are actually taken in downtown Toronto. It's an amazing example of a vision of turning a completely dead space into a space that will attract people. Next up is the amazing new urban parks that are being built for year-round use. Sherbourne Commons is now open. It sits immediately west of Monde Condominiums and stretches all the way to the lake. In the wintertime, the park turns into an ice skating rink, which drew huge crowds this past winter. And imagine having all of this right at your doorstep outside of Monde Condominiums. For me, the park is a huge deal in this neighborhood, and because people love to be around nature. Parkside and waterside condos around the world are highly sought after, and especially in urban settings. At Monde, you have access to an urban lifestyle, parkside and waterside living. It's pretty remarkable. The other area that's getting a ton of investment in this neighborhood is a brand new 1.5 kilometer waterside promenade, and they are not cheaping out on this. We walked along the promenade past week, and it is unbelievable. They're putting brand new cobblestone work in the shape of the maple leaf to give it some added character. The high-end light fixtures, the amazing wave deck benches. This is the real deal, and they're putting a ton of funds into getting this right. You can see that they're really trying to attract this, to turn this into a real high-end neighborhood. It's a shot looking down at the cobblestone work. But they're going to have a couple of other. They're going to have a small park called Aitken Park. It's going to be a little bit more intimate, and it's going to be in between two of the buildings there. And then on the far right, they're also going to be developing the Parliament Slip, which is where you'll be able to dock boats and yachts. The next big question: where is the money coming from? It's important to know who's funding the development because it gives you a sense of how important these neighborhoods are. East Bayfront is $1 billion revitalization as backing from all three levels of the Canadian government: the federal government, the provincial government, and the local municipal government. It's one of the largest waterfront redevelopments in North America, and it's being overseen by a company called Waterfront Toronto. This company is designed to oversee all waterfront redevelopments in downtown Toronto. And finally, we talked about having high-quality developers involved. Back in 2008, Waterfront Toronto had a short list of developers they invited to work on this parcel of land, and they were really the best of the best. Daniels, Great Gulf Homes, Menkes, Tridel, Citizen, Cadillac Fairview, Hines were among the developers shortlisted, and any combination of these developers would have been amazing. But ultimately, the developers that won out here were Great Gulf Homes, Tridel, and Hines. Again, this shows the intent to quality right from the beginning, and the developers behind this new redevelopment are among some of the best we've ever seen. And here is something that we thought was really great. We took a look at the walk score and the transit score of this area before any of this revitalization has even taken place. And here's what we found. The walk score is already an amazing 88 today. So it's hard to imagine that this being anything other than 100 before all the brand new retail goes in. The transit score is already a 94, and that's without the approved LRT line going in. And again, once this is all done, this is where we anticipate the scores to be. Next up, we're going to take a look at how this factors in based on the previous neighborhoods that we looked at. And we looked at Liberty Village, Distillery District, Canary District, Regent Park, Fort York, and City Place. So bringing in the East Bayfront to here, you'll see that it has a residential component. It has a retail component. It has an amazing commercial component with 2.5 million square feet of new commercial space. It has some of the best public spaces we've seen anywhere in the city, with a 1.5 kilometer promenade, brand new beach and park spaces. It's backed by 3 levels of government. The developers working on this are some of the best that we have in our city, Great Gulf and Tridel, and we're excited to see where the trend takes us on this one. Next up, we're going to look at some of the floor plans and views, and we touched a little bit earlier about why they brought on Moshe Safdie, the architect in this building, and one of the reasons was his expertise with waterfront condominiums. Monde Condominiums, this is a copy of the floor plate. To the left, you've got the blue, which indicates the water. Monde Condominiums is shaped in this sort of wedge-shaped building, and it's designed to give maximum views all around, and we're going to take a closer look at that. The building is angled towards the water, and what it does is it creates these unique corner suites on virtually every single suite that gives these amazing panoramic views. To show how that kind of plays out, here's an example of a unit on the east side. Typically, you would assume that facing straight east, you would not get any lake views. But again, because of this wedge-shaped building, and you can see here the angle towards the water, it creates this amazing corner feature in every single suite. So the view here would actually look something like this. To the left, you would have the east, but it would panoramic all the way around to the water. These are true water views in virtually every single suite. Jumping over to the west, and again you'll see this wedge-shaped design going towards the water. The water in this suite would be to the left-hand side, and again it creates this corner where you get these panoramic views. On the west side, your view would look something like this, and again you would feed it because of how close you are to the water. This is true waterfront views, and you would have a huge panoramic view and also on the west side you would see the CN Tower and the financial district. But it's not all about the water views here, because the north views are just incredible. And again, this is an example of a suite on the northwest corner. This is a true corner, so you see the glass all the way around. To the west, you would have an incredible skyline view that shows the financial district all the way north to Yorkville. You could see everything. You do get a little bit of lake again on the left because of how close you are to the water. And now Sonny's going to jump in and talk a little bit about the value.
So here we get really excited. We have already talked about the amazing developer, and we have spent some time looking at the world-class redevelopment that is taking place at East Bayfront. None of that is worth a dime if the projects don't offer value. So here's a quick look at some of the numbers and special promotions for the investor suites at Monde Condominium. For the one-day sales event, we have negotiated $35,000 to $45,000 in cash discounts. We have negotiated free locker for every suite. We have negotiated free assignment clause. Also, we have all development levy charges are capped. Extended deposit structure, which is payable in 24 months. That's amazing. Also, suites at Monde Condominium range from 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom plus den. Price range $316,000 to $460,000. Price per square foot from $480 a foot to an average $558 a foot. Guys, I must tell you something. There's nothing that exists for this price per square foot in downtown Toronto or at the waterfront. We wanted to hammer just how amazing these prices are. So the first thing we did was take a look at the pricing in projects in the immediate area. In East Bayfront, there are 2 condominiums that have launched by Tridal. Aquilina was launched last year and is over 90% sold with an average price per square foot of $689. Ecovista, which is also another project by Tridal in the same neighborhood, it was launched to Platinum Brokers just last week. Their day one prices are approximately $700 a foot, with suites ranging as high as $3.1 million. This tells us 2 things. Buyers see the potential of this area and are paying the same prices as already developed neighborhoods in Toronto because of the proximity to the water and to the park, and they see the long-term potential. The starting price from $480 a foot, an average of $558 a foot, is starting to look real attractive. The average price is almost $150 per square foot cheaper than Ecovista, making virtually incredible value for every suite at Monde. We didn't stop there. A project called Pier 27, launched 6 years ago, is little more centrally located than Monde Condominium. It's at Young and Queens Quay, and it is in the location that I would consider to be more complete than Monde Condos. It has the retail, it has the residential, and it is built up community. If you want a window to the potential of this neighborhood, look no further. Remaining suites at Pier 27 average over $1,000 a foot. That is the price that buyers are willing to pay for prime waterfront location. Now, yeah, let's forward. It's looking really cheap. Let's talk about the Humber Bay location. We were so convinced that these prices are some of the best we have ever seen. We decided to look at the condos available in the Etobicoke waterfront at Humber Bay Park. Now, before we get into the numbers over there, let's emphasize a couple of things here. These condos are not downtown Toronto. These condos have little to no transit support from the downtown core. Many of these condos do not feature the high-end finishes like Monde. None of these were designed by Moshe Safdie, one of the best architects on the planet. The Humber Bay Park community was not master planned and lacks a major retail component. However, both share excellent waterfront communities. So let's take a look at 3 of the latest projects to sell in Humber Bay Park. Riva del Lago by Monarch. It is 50% sold at an average $634 a foot. Eau Soleil. It's by Empire. This project is 84% sold at an average $627 a foot. Another project by Empire, Eau Soleil Water Tower, 60% sold at an average $645 a foot.
That $480 a foot is really starting to sound very, very attractive. And you can see again the prices in Humber Bay Park, which is not downtown Toronto, and compared to the Monde, which start from $480 a foot and average at $558 a foot, sound really, really impressive. Next up, we did some work on the rentability. Now, when it came time to look at the rental potential at Monde Condominiums, we decided that based on nearby condominiums that had inferior finishes, that were 20-year-old buildings, they were averaging around $3 per square foot. So that's what we took as the rental amount. So we looked at a suite that is 908 square feet on the northeast corner. Purchase price is $430,000, which averages around $450 a foot. The rental amount would be approximately $2,725. We took out the mortgage payments, which, remember, folks, includes principal and interest of $485. The maintenance fees at 50 cents a foot is $454, and we calculate the monthly real estate taxes to be around $350. Total carrying cost would have been $2,250 a month, which shows a monthly cash flow of $475 a month for this suite, which is just incredible. Next up, we want to talk a little bit about what's happening on Saturday, November the 1st, which is the sales event. This event on Saturday is a private event and will only be open to people on this webinar. In order to attend, you must email us to RSVP, and we will get back to you with all the instructions, which includes the location and all the things that you will need to buy a suite on November the 1st. Within the next hour or so, you're going to receive everything that you need to make a decision to purchase at Monde Condominiums. You're going to receive the price list, and you're going to receive the floor plans for this special private event. And this private event will only be open again to the people who are on this webinar, and we will only be allowing people in who have RSVP'd. There will be a guest list, and we will only be allowing those people in. This is a private event, and we want to keep it that way. It's a private and exclusive offering, and we want to keep it that way. So next up, we've got ourselves approximately 10 to 15 minutes for question and answer. So please ask the questions. You should have a window where you can jump in and ask your questions. So we're going to give you a couple of minutes to get some questions in, and then we'll get started. Okay, so the first question that came in is, when will the light rail be completed? Now, right now, the light rail on the east side is, unfortunately for this section, we don't have visuals to kind of go alongside with it, but we'll do our best to explain, and we're more than happy to go into detail with some of these questions after the fact, by email or by phone. So the first question is, when will the light rail be completed? Now, as of this time, the light rail is approved. For those of you who are in Toronto, you know that the election was yesterday, and one of the biggest hot topics was the transit. Right now, there's so much going off with the transit. It's impossible to have an exact date of when that will be finished. Now, in order to address this situation, we have a couple of transit options which helps us connect to the city. As of right now, there is a number 6 bus that goes to Union Station every 3 minutes. In addition, Monde Condominiums, as part of the budget, will have a private chauffeured coach that will do runs to Union Station 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon during rush hour, 5 days a week, to help with that until the light rail is installed. Now, it's important to remember that Monde Condominiums is not going to be ready until 2018 or 2019, so a lot's going to change in that time, and we are really, really hoping that this LRT will be up and running by then. The next question we had is, I am an overseas buyer, how can I get involved with this purchase if I cannot be in town on Saturday? Now, there's a couple of, what we have to work out here will be the logistical side of it. There are a couple of different ways that we can handle these files. Number 1 will be with a power of attorney. If you have a local power of attorney that can sign on your behalf, we can handle it that way. Other ways will be we can courier the agreement out to you, and you can sign it, and it can be signed back. But we'll handle those on a one-on-one basis. The best thing to do is to let us know that you're unable to be at the sales office on Saturday and you are interested in purchasing, and then we can handle those on a one-on-one basis. The next question is, what can I get for $480 per square foot? Now, at the end of this, you are going to receive a full package with the floor plans and pricing. There are a number of 2-bedroom suites in the podium that are around 900 square feet, and they start from $430,000, which, when you break it down, comes into $480 a foot. Tremendous value. And again, once you get a chance to see the floor plans and the prices, you'll see the full breakdown of these suites. Okay, next question. Sorry guys for the gaps. We're just waiting for the questions to come in. The next one is, how much do parking spaces cost? The parking spaces in this for this building for this event will be $44,500. Is a very competitive price for this neighborhood. Prices at Aqua Vista, which just launched last week, the prices for a parking spot there are $48,000. So $44,500 will be the price of a parking spot. The next question is, will recent elections affect this community? And the immediate answer is no, because there are 3 levels of government that are backing this community, and this is a community that's been funded since back in 2005. This is huge development happening here. There's a lot of moving parts here which involve the developers, involve the government. A lot of this neighborhood is already pre-planned. Major impact that the election will have with the timing of the LRT line. Okay. Key. Are we sure that other condos developed south of Queens Quay won't block views. Now, to the south, I'm assuming the projects that he's referring to are Aquilina and Aquavista and the Tridel projects that are south of Queens Quay. The great thing about a master plan community is that we already know the heights of all the buildings to the south. When they developed this master plan, there were only 4 projects that were designated high-rise. And again, I don't have the visual here, but you would have seen there's 4 projects that can be high-rise. And all the buildings to the south and all the buildings in the immediate vicinity will be approximately 12 stories high. So assuming as long as we clear 12, even if you want to go floor, say 15, 16, you can be rest assured that your views will be safe. Okay. Next question is, the first question is, are rental guarantees? And in this promotion, no. When we went to the developer, the biggest thing that we wanted for our clients was the best prices. So we went in with that in mind, and the biggest incentive here is these amazing prices. There are not rental guarantees. However, what we've been seeing in our marketplace is that the rental guarantees are required more so outside of the downtown core. The rental market in the downtown core is very, very strong. We're seeing properties being rented out within a week, 10 days, and that's the sort of ceiling in terms of time frame on the rentals.
I just want to add to that, I've done a few rentals for my clients this year, and we have received multiple offers on all the rentals we have done so far this year. So rental market is very, very hot, and vacancy rate is at all-time low.
Next question is on the amenity space, and again, without going into it's kind of difficult without the visuals, but the big amenity space that they're working on here, which will set it apart from the other projects, is the rooftop infinity pool. This is going to be a route that stretches all the way south. It's going to have cabanas. It's going to have this real resort style feel. Of course, on the inside, you're going to have state-of-the-art gym facility. Party rooms and all of that sort of stuff. It's going to have 24/7 concierge. It's going to be a luxury building. The next question is, what is the deposit structure? So for this promotion, we have negotiated a deposit structure that's split over 24 months, and again, you will receive this in your email box with the price list. The deposit structure for this event will be $5,000 with the offer, the balance to 5% in 30 days, a further 5% in 4 months, a further 5% in 8 months, and then the final 5% all the way to 2 years, and then a 1% on occupancy. Hope that answers that question. The next question is, which suite is the best bang for buck? This is a very, very difficult question to answer because there's a lot of great suites on offer here, and we're more than happy to go into going through the floor plans on a one-on-one basis. Now, there's going to be different types of buyers for different types of suites. The suites on the lower floors are the lower price per square foot, and as you get through higher with the building, with the better views, you are going to be paying a premium for that. We feel as though the best bang for buck is always to be somewhere in the middle of the pack, where you get the benefit of both sides. And again, we're happy to go through the suites with you on a one-on-one basis. The next question is, how many floors are in this? How many floors are in this area? In this building, sorry. So this is going to be a 40-story building. The next question is there any kinds of discounts for buying multiple suites? And the answer is no, there will not be any further discounts if we're buying multiple suites. The developers are already priced these as low as they can possibly go. And this is designed so that they can get started on their construction. How far from the water is this building? Is the next question. This building is It's right in the slip, and again, we don't have the visual to show you here, but again, we'll send out some images here and emphasize just how close this building is to the water, but it is a true waterfront project. We are running out of time on the questions. Was there any more that we wanted? Okay. Okay, the question is, have either of you purchased personally, and if so, unit? Which unit?
Well, you know what? I have been investing for quite some time, and this is one of the projects. When I saw the pricing, when we negotiated the deal, I had to jump in. I had to, buy something. So not only my family, they are buying a suite here. My all good friends, they are buying a suite here. It is incredible value, and as we have said in our presentation, prices like these does not exist in downtown and on the waterfront. So this is the best deal, and of course we had to jump in and put our money there.
Guys, that is all the time we're going to have today. Now, we have a number of questions to get around to answering. We do have a log of all the questions that were asked and who asked them, so we will be reaching out to you personally to make sure that these questions are answered. We want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. And again, you are going to receive an email with all the information that we talked about, and we look forward to seeing each and every one of you on Saturday. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.